Hello, this is Todd Shank from Premier FPL. This week I'm going to be doing my Week 9 Fantasy Premier League tips. So, as you can see here, I have my team pulled up from last week. Um, I'll show you my points from last week. 48, again, just above the average. Game week rank was 1.4 million, and my overall rank I actually jumped up 200,000 places to 1.1 million. Um, Last week didn't really work out too well for me. Kane didn't produce the way that I thought he would, and really, yeah, Ericsson's the only one that got me double-digit points for the week. But still, it didn't go too badly for me. I am hoping that Davis is going to be returning this weekend. It's a big chunk of my budget to be missing out for the week. So really hoping that he'll be back for this week. Um, so a few things that I'm looking at doing for this week include I might actually wild card for this week, mostly because I'm not really too happy with the players that I have and kind of want to make a change overall to everybody, but definitely looking at getting rid of Mkhitaryan. Not really producing in the last couple of game weeks. I know he's gotten 3 points on each occasion, so still picking up the bonus points in there. But, I mean, 3 points really isn't that great when I could be bringing in somebody else. Um, so, point one in the bank, I could probably take a -4 hit and bring in somebody like David Silva, or even just not even take a hit at all, bring in Sterling. I know in past videos I've said I like to avoid City and Liverpool players since I'm a United supporter, but it's getting to the point where I think I do want to pick up some points, and that does mean bringing in some City players. So that actually brings me to my first tip for this week is look at bringing in some City players. Uh, David Silva is really racking up the points this year, second most in midfielders. Um, we'll pull this up. So yeah, second most for midfielders and fifth overall for points scored this season. And just behind him is Sterling at 8.1. That's a good price for a player like Raheem Sterling, who looks like he's really flying under Pep Guardiola this year. I did look at the difference between Sterling and Sané. Sterling is cheaper, so I think that's who I would prefer to go with. He does have more points. The other thing is he actually has played more minutes. He's played 477 minutes compared to Sané, who's played 408 minutes. Um, the other one to look at is somebody who I actually started the year with, but then dropped. And basically, since I dropped him, he's picked up 9, 6, 3, 11, and 9 points. And that's Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, I had him for the first 3 game weeks. Wasn't impressed with him. Saw that he was playing much deeper, and now he's gone ahead and picked up 5 assists since then and a goal. Um, it's kind of a toss-up whether you want to bring in him or David Silva. I don't. You could maybe make room for both of them and Sterling, but then I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough call, but Salva has the 6 assists and 1 goal, so he's just ahead of Kevin De Bruyne right now. So yeah, I would definitely recommend bringing in at least one, and I would say definitely if you can make room for 2 City midfielders, you want to do that. The other one is whether or not you want to bring in Jesus up front. That's actually one that I thought about trying to make room for. Mainly, one of the reasons I was looking at doing a wild card for this week, trying to bring in basically looking at bringing in Sterling, Silva, and um, Jesus. So, yeah, not sure yet if I really want to go ahead and do that, but just something to think about. The other one is that Wilfred Saha is returning, and he's actually one. I don't have him in my differentials, which I'll be going over here in a little bit. If we sort here, Crystal Palace down a little bit. Actually, past him. But yeah, here. So 3% ownership really is pretty low for a player like him. 6.7 million pounds is it's a good target range. Started out the year with, he was one that I definitely had in my team. He was pretty well picked early on. Picked up a goal and 7 points against Chelsea, and has some decent fixtures coming up against Newcastle and West Ham. Spurs is going to be a tough one, but then they do play Everton, Stoke, Brighton, West Brom, Bournemouth, Watford. So really the toughest game in there is against Spurs. So that's somebody I think I might try to bring in, as which means really either taking a -4 hit or doing a wild card. Alright, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is my differential picks for this week. I'm going to start out in defense and go with, I'm going to go with Aaron Cresswell here. He is at 5.0. It's a little bit steep. I tend to prefer to pick lower price players for differentials, but with 1.2% ownership, he definitely fits into the category of a good differential. He's played full 90 minutes in every game except their opening match, and his 11 key passes is the third highest among all defenders this season so far. Only Ben Davis with 16 and Kieran Trippier with 12 are just above him. So he's looking like good attacking fullback. Picked up some decent points in there, and this weekend they're playing against Brighton, followed by Crystal Palace. So 2 matches where they could be picking up another couple of clean sheets, or at least getting some goals. Moving on to midfield. Midfield is a really tough one to find differentials, mostly because that's where so many people look to get points, and ownership rates are much higher in midfield. But I'm going to go with Alex Iwobi. He's only a 1% ownership. 5.1 is a good price range to go with. There's a few problems with him. First, he's only played the 90 minutes, full 90 minutes in one match, and that was last week, and just picked up 2 points in that match. But they are playing Everton this weekend, and that's a good chance for them to get points. It's followed by Swansea at home the following week. So back-to-back matches where he could be picking up some solid points. The question's going to be whether or not he plays, or even plays the full, at least gets to 60 minutes in, so you get full points from him. So he's a differential pick, but he's also a risky pick because of the fact that he just hasn't played the full 90 minutes much this season. All right, moving on to the forwards. I'm going to recommend Newcastle's Joselu. He's another one that's a bit of a risk, mostly because he's been subbed out in every match this season. However, he has at least played at least 60 minutes in their past 6 matches. So again, another risk, but he's at least playing enough to get the points in there. 5.5 for a forward is a good way to clear some room for your midfield, and only 1.4% ownership. That definitely makes him a good differential pick for this week. They are also playing Crystal Palace this week, followed by Burnley and Bournemouth. So those are 3 matches in a row that look pretty solid for Newcastle. Hopefully he'll be picking up a goal this week. He's scored 2 so far this season. Playing against Crystal Palace is a good chance for him to get another goal. Alright, so that pretty much wraps it up for this week. Like I said, I think I might be going with my wild card for this week. So do still have some choices to be made in there, but that basically ends my Fantasy Premier League tips for this week. Hopefully your FPL team is looking good, looking all set. Just remember that the deadline is early this week. 1900 hours for over in England. That would be about 2 o'clock on East Coast time where I am. So make sure you get that done tomorrow afternoon so that your team actually goes through, since there is the Friday night match with West Ham. Did want to plug my Premier FPL site here. My fixture planner is up. It's a good place for you to get to figure out fixtures for the week, as well as Premier Injuries is a good place to go to find out who's injured for this week. So yeah, again, that wraps it up. Please subscribe to the channel. I will be planning to do these videos every week. You can find me on Twitter at Todd_Shank or at PremierFPL on Twitter as well. And head over to my website, Premier FPL, where you can find my weekly tips. Thanks a lot. Have a good day, good luck, and have fun.